Have you ever had this experience on a weekend afternoon when you're supposed to be relaxing, you're so exhausted that you fall asleep on the couch? When you open your eyes again, the sky outside has already gone dark, but the very first feeling that washes over you isn't relief, isn't the satisfaction of finally getting some rest. It's a wave of overwhelming, inexplicable guilt. You stare at the ceiling, silently scolding yourself. I didn't get a single useful thing done today. I basically just wasted my life. Here at Quiet Minds Universe, as the first bonus episode of our sleep series, we're looking at something a lot of us quietly suffer from: rest shame. All around us, we're constantly bombarded by voices telling us things like, why sleep when you could be getting ahead? Or the people more successful than you are working even harder than you. These slogans urging us to keep running have become truths we don't dare to question. And somewhere along the way, we got taken hostage by a deep, persistent sense of guilt, as if the moment you rest, the moment you're not earning money or not visibly improving yourself, you're shamefully squandering your life. Today, we want to offer you a completely different perspective. Let's take a step back and ask, why do we feel ashamed of resting in the first place? And is the problem really that you just lack self-discipline? Jonathan Crary, a professor of art history at Columbia University, raises a striking point in his book 24/7. He argues that in today's society, one that runs around the clock, almost everything in our lives has been given a price tag. Sleep, however, is one loophole in this enormous system, one thing that simply cannot be converted into money. Crary describes sleep as having a profound uselessness and passivity. When you're asleep, you stop consuming, you stop producing, and the uncomfortable truth is, this non-stop world has no way to extract any commercial value from you while you're sleeping. Precisely because sleep generates no economic value, because it pushes back against a system designed to run 24 hours a day, the outside world feels compelled to constantly condition us, to frame sleep as a kind of debt that must always be minimized, to paint tiredness as a moral failing or a sign that you just don't have enough discipline. Now you might say, but there are plenty of articles these days telling us to rest and take care of ourselves. That's true, but it's worth taking a closer look at the logic behind those messages. Tricia Hersey, the author of the best-selling book Rest is Resistance, cuts right through the layer of self-care packaging that modern society has wrapped around this conversation. We've all heard comparisons like, you have to fill your own cup first, so you have enough to pour for others, or rest so you can go the distance. Hersey makes a sharp observation. This logic, rest in order to work better, still treats people as tools at its core. Did we really come to this earth just to be machines on an assembly line, endlessly repaired so we can keep running at full speed? She gently reminds us, let go of that cup in your mind, the one that has to be filled before you're allowed to give anything. Rest is not a luxury, it is not a privilege, and it is certainly not a reward you have to queue up for only after you've burned yourself down to nothing. You do not have to earn the right to rest. Your body belongs to you and you alone. It should never be an accessory in anyone else's system of judgment. The truth is, human beings were not born this resistant to sleep.
Before the industrial age, our ancestors simply followed the rhythm of the sun, rising with the light, resting when it faded. People back then even practiced something called segmented sleep. They would wake up for an hour or two in the middle of the long night, to sit with their thoughts, to reflect on a dream, or to murmur quietly in the dark with someone they loved, before drifting back to sleep. The deep of night back then was a stretch of calm and unclaimed freedom. Then came the great industrial whistles blasting through the sky, the earliest and most powerful alarm clocks in human history, to synchronize a massive labor force and get everyone to the production line at precisely the same moment. We were stripped of our natural biological rhythms. And now, we've taken that external pressure and turned it inward, using it to police ourselves.
So the next time you feel exhausted, late at night, or find yourself desperately craving just a few minutes of rest during the day, please don't bow to the culture of relentless hustle, and please, stop putting yourself on trial. As Crary puts it, sleep is humanity's most uncompromising interruption of the exploitation of time. The moment you put down your phone, switch off the light, and gently close your eyes, that is an act of the quietest, most complete self-protection there is. We don't sleep in order to perform better at work tomorrow. We sleep simply because you, as an independent and free human being, deserve to be held tenderly by the long, dark night. Here at Quiet Minds Universe, come retreat to the last sanctuary of your soul. In this stretch of time, uncalculated, unbought, and undefined by anyone, good night. Dream freely.